The junta in Niger Republic has ordered its armed forces to go on highest alert, citing an increased threat of attack, according to an internal document issued by its defense chief. The document, which was shared widely online on Saturday, said the order to be on maximum alert would allow forces to respond adequately in case of any attack and avoid a general surprise. The main West African bloc, ECOWAS, has been trying to negotiate with the leaders of the July 26th coup, but it said it is ready to deploy troops to restore constitutional order if diplomatic efforts fail. On Friday, the bloc downplayed this threat and said it was determined to bend backwards and accommodate diplomatic efforts. The bloc's decision earlier in August to activate a so-called standby force for a possible intervention raised fears of an escalation that could further destabilize the insurgency-torn Sahel region. Well, Niger's military administration ordered only the French ambassador to leave the country, not the German, United States or Nigerian envoys, it announced. In a statement late on Friday, the ministry dismissed widely circulated reports indicating that the German, United States, Nigerian envoys had been effectively expelled, specifying that only a French ambassador in Niger is declared persona non grata. Niger's military administration on Friday gave the French ambassador, Sylvain Ite, 48 hours to leave the country, accusing him of refusing to respond to an invitation to meet Niger's foreign minister. A ministry statement said that Niger doesn't need authorization or an interpretation of the Vienna Convention of 1961 to order the ambassador's expulsion within 24 hours. And for more on this perspective, I'm being joined by security analyst Dr. Ambrose Iboke to give his thoughts on this developing issue. Good to have you on the news at this time. So first off, how significant now are the Niger junta's concerns about aggression threats, and how do you think this could affect the stability of neighboring countries in the region?
The Niger issue has not been treated very well, especially by the ECOWAS sub-regional bloc. It was an error at your first part by threatening the coupists first with military force before engaging in dialogue. More so that the outside president is still in the custody of the coupists. ECOWAS would have employed what we call a stick and carrot approach. First of all, using the carrot before the stick. But what ECOWAS did was to use the stick, the threat of the stick before the carrot. ECOWAS would have negotiated with the coup plotter to ensure that there's a safe passage for Zoom, the ousted president and his family to have an asylum before, so that he can have a safe passage and out of the country. But threatening people with force and then coming back to now start negotiating is a little bit tacky. And so that has emboldened the military junta. That has, made them to begin to talk tough. That has made them to begin to be aggressive. That has sort of emboldened them, and they are issuing threats left, right, and center. But all good. The tension have doused down on both sides. ECOWAS they have not agreed. Remember that the first delegation sent by the chairman of ECOWAS, led by Abdulsalam Abubakar and the rest, did not yield much results. They were turned back. But after some intercession and intermediaries here, now the junta is ready to talk. ECOWAS is also talking. So it's a good development on both sides. The 3 years transition period given by the junta is not acceptable. The junta has to ensure that democracy returns to that country by constituting elections as quickly as possible. ECOWAS and the military coupists should also have a timeline that is agreeable by both sides. And I think ECOWAS should immediately ask the junta or demand that the former president be released immediately. And that will be a safer way forward so that we can ensure that the former president is safe, so that he is removed from the harm's way. About giving the French president ultimatum to leave, I don't know. It's a little bit dicey. The French government does not recognize the military as the legitimate government in Niger. And on the other hand, the coupists are saying that they are the legitimate government. So it's a delicate issue. But I think the best thing for France to do is for the safety of his own envoy, to allow the envoy leave Niger for now, and then try to find a diplomatic solution for it.
Indeed. So if in all of this that you've mentioned so far, if things aren't properly handled, do you think there's a potential destabilizing factor here in Niger, seeing that it could affect the broader Sahel region in terms of security matters? What are your thoughts?
Niger is a critical melting point for the actions and interventions against a lot of the terrorist attack in the Sahel region, the ISWAP, the Islamic State, Al-Qaeda, and some other jihadists from Mali, from Libya, from all those places, all have come to assemble in Niger. And if not for the joint efforts in the military, the French has a ready-made foot on ground there. So also the US, so also Nigeria, and so on. So there's a joint task force between the various countries and contingents, and that have been able to contain the influx of these terrorists. Remember that Nigeria was badly hit in the last few years, and at a time, by the time we're conducting the 2015 election, I think Nigeria had 17 local governments of this country in the north that were under the terrorist control. But you can see the progress that have been made so far. This is because before the joint, integration of the military effort, they will come from Niger, strike in Nigeria, and then run back to Niger and have protection. But because of the contiguous nature of Niger and Nigeria and the Sahel region, joint efforts between Nigeria, Chad, and Niger and some other African contingents and also West were able to contain these terrorists. So the fear is that if this already established joint control is being tampered with through this coup, there may be an escalation of terrorism in the region. And that is why the matter should be treated so delicately to avoid a conflagration of these terrorists. Because the terrorists will take advantage of any loophole that is being created. And so some of them are just waiting for war to start so that they can use that opportunity to perpetrate more evil.
And
so
that's a fine place to leave it.
Sides.
Dr. Ambrose Ibuki, apologies I had to interrupt you there, but because of time, thank you so much for your insights on the news at 10 tonight.
Thank you for having me.